at least what is it currently in context was the intention behind why we use this process part as well. While before getting into what is the agile and things, so at least can you all quickly tell me what are the phases in the software development life cycle? If you can recollect that part. Okay, some of you are telling planning, requirement design. Okay. Distribution, gas, integration. Okay. Okay. First and foremost, it's requirements analysis. Yeah. Okay. Most of you have given, in fact, even in the sequence as well. Great. I'm not going to mention all because so many, just the chat box is getting filled up very well. Because I heard from my team members, Beat Aishwarya, Girija, or Prithvi, that crowd is active and things. So now I got to experience it. Great to see this. Yeah. So it is the, I mean, any software development methodology, it is the mostly the requirements analysis, then goes on with the design part of it, then the implementation, testing, again, which involves very just it, integration or whatever, all those parts, finally the maintenance. Right. This is how the software development life cycle, the various phases are. Thanks to all of you who have given it. And so, what is the need for software engineering? There is a wonderful video over here which I would recommend you all to go through that after this session. So, which about if has already gone through this video, okay, can you tell me what is the need for this software engineering? Why so much of planning, this process is required? Okay, time and the cost. Okay. Okay, to ensure that we deliver the right product at the right time. Okay. Time and the effort goes into building the or into the product that you would design and implement. So hence, it is very much important that we have but stops to understand whether we are going in the right direction at each level. So that is where that entire the entire thing of the process, there is a process in place when it comes to the software development. So there are various projects you would have, and even most of these, like, but there are news that have come up as well, right? So, I mean, what are the project roles that you are aware of? Of course, the project manager you would have heard a lot about. I hope I'm audible, but when I see any responses is where I'm a little, I'm audible or not.
You are audible, ma'am. This light sometimes few seconds break, but you are audible. Participants, please confirm if the voice is clear and also respond to the questions.
So mentioned, yeah, that all the QA. Great. Whatever, some of you have also gone beyond and mentioned about the product owner part, which we would be learning as part of this Agile methodology. So that itself shows that some of you are already aware of this Agile process. That's maybe certain things would be developments and certain roles in like the quality analyst, of course, the tester itself, then the document writer, or technical writer, or technical architect. So they mean domain specialist. So this role. So now coming to the agile, what is the change that is there, and how do we go about with the process is what we would be understanding in today's session. So when it comes to the software development, there are various models as well. Okay, of course, these were the phases, but we had something called the waterfall model, the spiral model, or the incremental delivery, all this. Okay, so being followed in the agile, and why is that we have gone to agile when compared to whatever the traditional models that we had in place. Okay, with the interest of the time that is there, I will quickly get into the agile part of it. For whatever about the previous, I mean the other old, traditional software models, and I would go through these videos. Okay, so at least I will give you just a gist of this waterfall taking to the methodology. So I'll compare that waterfall, all that part a little later. Now coming to the agile. Okay, so what is the meaning of agile? Fast, okay, flexible, great. Okay, fine. Here, yes. And why do you think we would have moved to the agile way of software development when we already had models that already exist? I mean, there were so many that were existing, but still, why do you think we would have moved to the agile way of software development? Yeah, as some of you mentioned, it is quick delivery, flexibility. Okay, so let me tell you, let me start with a example. Okay, so there is a famous quote by Murthy, who was a professor in Triple B, that is Bangalore. So he says, the breakfast, have the breakfast or the breakfast. Have the breakfast or be the breakfast. So we are with this quote.
Sana ma'am, sorry,
Yeah,
voice is
now
breaking. Your voice is breaking. Many of them I'm reporting that. Could you please check the network?
So they are reporting. How about you, Prithvi, whether you're please? Because
there
the
is
issue could be
slight break, but I'm able to understand the sentences in the flow. Ma'am, are you connected on the mobile network?
okay. Just I have to switch back to my other network only. If this doesn't work out, then I will have to move.
It's not, the voice break is not continuous though. It's a occurrence is short, few seconds.
Okay, so participants, I would also request if it is something manageable, please do go for it, because these technical issues are not in our hands. Okay, in spite of me having three alternatives, so at times. Yeah, while I understand it might be because every now and then when I only get into seeing these messages, it's only disturbing my flow of session delivery also. Anyway, yeah. So I was talking about the quote by Vailar Murthy, where it says, "Be the have the breakfast or be the breakfast." So what do I understand from this quote? Have the breakfast or be the breakfast. So it is, yeah, eat or be eaten. Yes. So it is all about either it is to say that is trying to say that adapt to the changes that are happening, that are prevailing, be it in the industry, be it what there are a lot of changes that are happening. If you do not adapt to those changes, you would be eaten away. Mean to say, there could be other competitors, and who is your competitor is not predictable. Okay, so I think most of you are aware of what happened with Nokia, which was at least very widely extended. That is 1100. I always have those memory with my engineering days where it was very like I would say a pleasure to carry them and get them get one procured from our parents and things. But even the feeling, even whatever the phones I carry today doesn't give that feeling, that 100 SMS that we used to have, those offers and things. Those were the days, right? So, but still, that Nokia, which had so many customers in those days itself, is it doesn't have the same market today. Why? That is where they were not ready to quickly adapt to that smartphones, and the smartphones ate away that. Leave apart, at least for the phone, you can say it is the same. Yeah.
Ma'am, now there is a lot of break in the voice.
Just okay. Three location. Keep my windows also open and go to my near my like Wi-Fi thing and see
Yeah,
if I
yes,
can
ma'am.
connect.
Yeah.
From that. 1 minute, okay. Participants, please to bear this with it.
Before ma'am gets in, there were some doubts with respect to certification. Let me clear it once again. For AI foundation certification, there are 3 prerequisites to be completed, and for AI primer certification, there are 5 prerequisites to be completed. Yeah, Sana ma'am is checking her internet access, so just bear with us for a while. Switch on the Kanu sir, is there an option to switch on the captions here, as somebody has suggested?
No, Prithvi, we can ask the people who are in the WebEx, if they are not able to hear, let them rejoin once again. We don't have any other options. There is no captions coming there.
Yeah, I don't see the caption option here. Yes, including data science, it will be 6, Kavita.
Prithvi, on the left-hand side, there is, a small, you can switch on the captions from there.
Okay.
So, ladies, you can
Ah,
also
yes,
please
yes.
use
WebEx
that
Assistant
option.
is enabled to save audio highlights.
Yeah, so at least if the voice is breaking, you will still be able to read what is being told, right?
Oh,
Please
thanks,
use that
Avneet.
option. You're welcome.
Yeah.
And also to share with you, Prithvi, we have about 60 plus candidates who have finished, the whole module here till now.
Oh,
So,
perfect. Applauds for
yes,
that.
yeah,
Getting this motivation for other participants who have not even
absolutely. It is,
attended. Yeah.
congratulations to all those who have already finished. And those who have not done, please try to do that as soon as possible. As all of you are aware that we soon will be moving into phase 2. Yeah. So, okay,
Yeah.
let's wait for Sahana ma'am to join.
We need to be agile in completing the courses and the certification to move on to the phase 2 program.
Absolutely.
Let me just quickly check. If you have an issue, please rejoin as my colleague suggested. That's an old technique wherein we used to restart the computer if it was not working.
Prithvi, there is a question from Shruti Narayan. Prithvi, how can we clear the Premier and Foundation exams? Need some tips. Do you have
Well,
some tips to share,
the
Prithvi?
tip is only to learn to read and to clear.
Pay attention to the subject
Uh,
and you will be able to clear it.
Only one thing we can say is learn the subject thoroughly and then appear for the exam. That is the only way. No shortcut.
Whenever you are learning, participants try and apply it to the day-to-day what's happening. So AI is all about that. So automatically it will sink into our brains.
Vani, to answer your question, the list of all, the module has been shared with you. Yes, it is AI, ML, NLP, deep learning, computer vision, and RPA. Okay, I after this session, I will be sharing once again so that the links also for the certification links also I will share once again with all of you after the session gets over. So those who have still not done it, please try to do that. A list of all prerequisite material plus the course material, everything has been shared with you. Please look into your WhatsApp groups. All the links are available in your WhatsApp groups.
Yeah, I think Sana ma'am has joined in. I'll just uh, m- Sana ma'am, are you able to hear us?
Yeah, please confirm whether I'm audible to you all.
This is as of now it's clear now.
Yeah,
Yes,
just
Sarana,
restarted
it's
my
clear.
machine also. Just give me a moment. The springboard. I've just I'll share my screen in a minute. So I was talking about the how what does he mean with this code, and he has written a paper about it. I was taking up those examples about if you remember the alarm pieces that we used to have, which we used to keep at your table side to wake you up and things. And who has replaced those alarm clocks today? Obviously, so, okay, some of you are telling it's Alexa, the mobile phones. For them, it is, for some of you, it is a baby, yeah. Okay, great. Fine. So, at least for majority of you, it is the mobile phones, right? So, it is just to say that the competitor, it's may not be in the same area. It is not even predictable, right? And when the time when they people, though today the video conferencing, audio conferencing, the clarity is a lot great when compared to what it used to be at least some 10 years ago or 15 years ago. Even then, with the start of these Cisco providing these many opportunities for the video conferencing and things, even in the days where the video was not that clear, still it did impact the air travel prices, because that reduced a lot of business travels as well. Because most of the air travels, it is rather than the personal ones, it was always said that air travels, I mean, those were the days where people said people used to take up a air travel only when it is business trips only. Very few were used to take it up on for a personal basis, and it was not that affordable also, the ticket price. Even in those days is where it was the video conferencing facilities and things which affected. Even when, and if you remember the album songs and others which were always sold through the CDs and things, the ones who are now making major business of those like album songs and others are the services like our Airtel ringtones or the Vodafone ringtones. They are the ones who are making huge business out of it, compared to actually the ones who are producing their albums and doing it through their. Now the CDs part is so gone altogether. It's only through their. I mean, see the way the shift that is there, and all this is, there are many more. If I have to go on, I mean, when it comes to that paper, it gives so many examples, and you feel a lot of it, I mean, surprising to look at the first time, but when you analyze, you will understand, right? These were something that was existing, we had used or we had heard of, but now they don't even exist, right? And the competitors part, if you look at, they are not of the same area at all, and you can't even predict that an alarm clock would be replaced and air travel would be affected by somebody else and things. Okay, this is all about, why am I telling this? It's all about adapting to the change. The first part, the adapting, how quick you are able to adapt to the changes. That is where the agile is all about. That is where it starts. See, if you put yourself in the shoes of a customer today. See, as a customer, let's say you would have today thought that, okay, you would have gone out, you would have seen a handbag or some mobile phone or something which you wanted to purchase. And you think, okay, as ladies, we always look at saving also at times. We say, okay, let me wait for a new model, or let me wait for a week, month end or so, based on my savings, let me go for it. By the time you again go back after a week or a month or so, your interest about changing that product would have changed. Most of the times it happens. Have you experienced that? Does it happen with you all also? Yes. So as a customer, your requirements, your interests are changing so frequently, right? So therefore, when we know that the end users requirements are changing so rapidly, obviously, even in the IT industry, with whatever the software products we deliver or whatever the other things which are dependent on the software products we deliver, we should be ready to adapt to the changing requirements. Okay, so firstly I spoke about adaptability. Now I'm talking about adapting to the changing requirements. Now, while I say that, why do we have to be adapting to the changing requirements? I also brought in one more component, that to stay abreast in the market when compared to our competitors, we should adapt to the changing requirements. Otherwise, somebody will take up, right? Somebody else will release their product to the market with the changing requirements, right? That's one. Now, while we are changing so rapidly, so quickly, while we have to do that, we cannot compromise on the quality aspects. Okay. Adapting to the changing requirements. No compromise on the quality. Here we also say that it's quick time to delivery. So if we look at the waterfall model or any other model that the traditional model that we had earlier, the progress of the project was measured in terms of milestones. So in a month, what is the progress, or in a quarter or so, and the product release used to happen only after a few quarters or almost a year. Okay, if whatever the product delivered and what was expected are not one and the same, as ladies, most of you would have experienced it, especially with your tailors, right? What you explain to the person to what he actually gives, at least once in life, you would have experienced, right? So just imagine that was a small piece of cloth which you can either, discard or get new one. But what if it is a software product where people have invested so much and we are expecting it to be uh, released or expecting some return on investment, quick return on investment. And if we are delivering something towards the after waiting for 1 year and this is the end product, if you are giving, what would be the response of the customer? Obviously, you would lose that good value system that the organization would have created, right? And also it is the time and the efforts. More than the cost, it is again the time and the efforts that were spent on it, right? So with Agile, we will see how do we address these challenges. Okay, while I say that, just give me 1 minute. Let me open the course on my machine as well. Hope the audio is clear, Prithvi or anybody else, if you can confirm me on this.
Yes,
perfect
it's
now.
clear, Sana. It's clear.
Okay, great. Just give me 1 minute. I'm trying to share my screen. Please confirm when it is visible. Okay,
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
thank you.
It's visible.
Okay, so now coming to the context of an IT industry, what is the expectation and why do we have to go with the agile way of methodology? Because one is speed of delivery. Okay, now with the way the world is moving, there are a lot of deployments that happen on a daily basis, and that too at the how many such deployments or the enhancements that we are able to make and deploy on a regular basis matters a lot. Then the quick return on investment. Obviously, the customer who would have spent some amount on the whatever the product that we would be building, they would be expecting a quick return on investment, and how far that product sustains in the market. That sustenance obviously depends on the quality of product that we deliver, right? So it is all about quick time to market, whether are we able to deliver quickly. So I gave you a few examples about what happens if we deliver late and if it is not the right way it was expected and delivered. Then the responding to the changes, right? With the changing requirements, we may have to respond quickly. What happens if we do not respond quickly? What happens if we do not do that? I'll take a few more examples to explain that. Just this is not getting okay. Okay. And while I have taken up the first two part, the last one, at times when we start with the projects today, the customers do not have the clarity about the product. Okay. There is a lot of volatility when it comes to the product. Okay, even in the IT industry, when we start off, even an initiative like Springboard or an initiative like Harshakti, we had certain plan, okay, we will do like this, we do this, but still there could be a lot of ground level challenges that might come up. Like we have now, okay, today we are fine, we are happy that till phase 1 is successful as per at least some of the parameters, learning parameters that we see with y'all and things, and the confidence that we see in y'all. But when it comes to the second phase and things, we do still anticipate certain things, and we are also making our groundwork on what is our strength, what is there we can, what we are sure of, what we are not sure of, right? So similarly, even in an IT industry, when the requirements, when the customer has to give in the requirements, at times they may not be technical people, and at times they themselves may not have a clarity about what is their product all about. Okay, so in spite of all that volatility, we should get started and we should be able to deliver. But how do we handle such things, right? So that is what we would understand now. Okay, and while we understand that, at least a gist of what is a waterfall model, how a waterfall model was, for the benefit of the people if you are not aware of. So waterfall model, the phases of waterfall model were like collecting the requirements, followed by analysis and thorough analysis and design of it. So post the completion of complete understanding of the requirements, an SRS document used to be prepared. What is SRS? Software requirements document, which is overall requirement, high level document there also, and low or a detailed level requirements document. Okay, lot of time was spent on understanding the requirements. Let's assume there were some 20 requirements. Until the team understands all the 20 requirements in detail, they never used to move to the next phase. Once that SRS is prepared, then we used to move to the design part of it, a detailed design. Okay, the low level and the high level design, as I said. Then the coding part. Once we have the design documents in place, then the implementation. Once the implementation is complete for all the modules, then we used to move into the testing. Testing is thoroughly done. Then we move on with the integration and finally the working version of the end product is delivered. So here the end user gets to see the end product only towards the end of all the phases. In between, the milestones was measured in terms of when the SRS document is prepared, whether design documents are prepared, whether coding is complete. This is how the milestones were measured in case of waterfall model. Okay, and let's say while you are in coding or testing, whatever, just for the sake of a quick understanding, I am taking those coding phase also. Let's say we are in a testing phase also, and the customer comes up and says, this requirement what you are working on no more is, because it's been 8 months or so since you've started off with the project, but whatever the requirement which we had discussed is no more useful or no more valid for us. Can we knock off this requirement, or can we modify this requirement? This is something that we cannot accommodate when it is a waterfall model. If we have to do that, then we have to go back to the requirements analysis, make all the changes wherever in the document, then the design, then the coding, all that, which is time and effort intensive. Why the name waterfall? Like the waterfall that falls from top of the hill and reaches the bottom. If you have to again put back the water from the place from where it fell down, it requires some effort, time and the efforts, right? Similarly, in this case, if we have to go back to any of the phases and make the changes, it's time and the effort intensive. Okay. So these are few disadvantages while we follow the waterfall model. But how do we overcome that? This is very pictorial representation of agile way of development. What we do is, instead of understanding all the requirements, right? Instead of trying to understand all the requirements, like in your school days, your teachers would have said, right, while taking up an exam, the first guideline they give us, when you go through the question paper, whatever the questions that you are very much aware of or very much confident, you start writing them, right? Later you start with the ones who are at least where you're partially confident, only then spend the remaining amount on the time questions where you would have, where you're not aware of or so, right? So here also a similar you can relate to, with at least the requirements which we have well understood, which, and also it's not only well understanding, because it's not only exam, right? Well understood and of very high priority, and the ones which can bring us quick return on investment, considering the risk factor and all, then that is the requirement which we would start. We will take up that requirement alone, understand it well, get all the clarity from the customer about the requirement, get into the design of it, complete it and deliver. Okay, so thereby if there is any changes to it, immediately you can get it. And it is not that always we pick up only one requirement, but we may pick up multiple such requirements. Okay, so this is only pictorially telling how the agile works. Okay, some more details about how actually the agile cycle works also I'll come back to it. So what is the difference between the two? In agile, we have short delivery cycles, which we call with the name sprint. Okay, in Scrum, we use the word terminology sprint. When it comes to agile way of software development or agile methodologies, to be more precise, there are many flavors of agile. Like your ice cream flavors, here also we have Scrum, like the vanilla flavor, which is more sort of, and the Kanban or the extreme programming. And when it comes to Scrum, it is the widely used one across the development projects, and Kanban widely used in case of maintenance projects. Okay. Whereas when it comes to maintenance, we cannot talk about the delivery cycle and all. That is, it goes in a different way altogether. Since majority of them in IT industry, it's of Scrum. So today I will focus a little more about the Scrum when compared to the other flavors, and also tell you what is the difference between each and where they are used as well. Okay. So the short delivery cycles in Scrum, we call them as sprint, and the duration of a sprint is 2 to 3 weeks only. Duration of the sprint is 2 to 3 weeks only, compared to the waterfall model where the delivery cycle was in several months or quarters. Okay, only towards the end of the project is where the delivery were, or some releases, intermediate releases if they are planned. So how do we deliver in agile? We deliver it requirements wise or feature wise. Whereas in waterfall, we deliver all the requirements in one shot, or we don't deliver at all. So what's the problem that we used to face with waterfall model was, just because if there were because of the issues or that might prevail in 20% of the software. Okay, while testing, we see a defect in some 20% of the product, and just because of that, we wouldn't have delivered the 80% of it, which was working absolutely fine. To make it more easier for you, let's say you are using some banking application. Okay, so in your banking application, what as a end user to you is important? The login part of it, whether the authentication is taken care, whether you are able to utilize your passbook option, fund transfer, all this. Okay, let's say there are features like some DMAT, DAT, this, which are DMAT account opening or some FD account opening and things, which not all of us use. Okay, just because in your waterfall model, the DMAT feature which was requested or a FD account opening, if that's not working properly, for that, should we keep back the rest of it, which was working absolutely fine, is not released on time, leading to delayed deliverables. When it is delayed deliverables, that is where the customer or your client misses out on the time to market. Okay, they miss out on getting the competitive advantage of delivering the product on time in the market. Okay, so that was the disadvantage with the waterfall model. At least if those features which are working fine, if they are delivered, at least that should help onboard the customers and utilize, at least take the competitive advantage. Responding to the changes, as I told earlier, quick response to the changes is something that was possible when how do we do that in Agile? I'll explain. But in the waterfall model, why it was slow, I've already explained to you. Okay. With that, let me move on to quickly talking about the Agile framework, okay, which is driven more by the driven more by the quick return on investment, quick time to delivery, all this. So there are 4 values, irrespective of what flavor of Agile we use. There are four values, okay, in the Agile framework. So what are those 4 values? Okay, the first foremost one, the individual in interactions over processes and tools. The individuals and interaction over process and tools. So here, there are 4 values when it comes to the Agile framework. One is individuals and interactions over process and tools, working software over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over contract negotiation, then responding to change over following a plan. So what is this individuals and interactions over processing? And who are the individuals here? The individuals, we mean over here are the team members or the customers, sponsors, all the people who are directly or indirectly involved as part of the project. That is all the stakeholders is what we call it, or we are referring to individuals here. Okay, all we are trying to say is that this value says we value more of interaction between all these individuals, between the team members as well as the customer, end user, sponsors. Of course, we do follow process in Agile. We encourage utilization of tools for the automation, but however, we encourage the interaction, or we value more of interaction between the individuals. Is this part clear to all of you? Okay. Now coming to the working software over comprehensive documentation. With the waterfall model we had, I spoke to you about the SRS document, design document. There were so many documents that are being prepared. We valued more of those documents in the waterfall model than what is actually working as part of the project. Those were the milestones, and the entire project progress was measured through those documents. But whereas to be more successful in Agile, it is the working software. Now, what is this working software which is of more value? So the working software is like, let's say a piece of code has been written. Okay. Some registration module is complete. This is something that is complete. Whether that feature is working fine or not. Or let's say you would have tested on, you have made some comparative study on some algorithms that you would want to pick up for the project. Okay. And you can show and tell, okay, this algorithms fits more than the other one or so. Or let's say if it is some like website that you are designing for a banking application, you are planning to your UI team is working on it. Then the wireframe means to say the skeletal part of at least the in a PPT you may put up, okay, this is how the design of your website would look like. Okay, then you show it to your customer and say, this is how it would look like. If you have, please share your inputs on this. Else, if everything, the design is fine with you, is where we will take it forward. Okay, so here in this case, you have something to show and tell. Rather than imagining things based on the documentation, you have something to show and tell. This is how the progress is measured. That is where the amount of changes that might come in or amount of misunderstanding that might be there in the requirements, understanding and things, those can be sorted out at a very early stage in the agile way of software development compared to the waterfall model. Hope this part is clear to you. What do we call it as a working software? Now, what we don't call as a working software should also be understood. Only then you would appreciate what is a working software. Okay. So what is that we don't call it as a working software is that SRS documents. All we have is the details about the requirements there. There is nothing else to show and say there. Or that high-level design document. Okay. So these are not the working software. Okay. Okay. So what is this SRS? Software Requirements Specification. Okay, when it comes to the software development, there is some standard, okay, CMM level standards. As per that CMM level standards, being a CMM, each IT industry is, I don't know, somebody might be trying to share the, I just tried to stop. Okay, anyways. So any IT industry is rated based on those CMM level standards. That is the capability maturity model, we call it. Based on the CMM level standards is where every IT industry documents their project or the documents their projects. Okay. So Infosys being a CMM level 5 organization. So as per that, whatever the model that they would have agreed upon as part of the project and things, there would be definitely some documents that needs to be prepared. Okay. So here it is not to say that we do not prepare documents at all in the in the agile way, but we do prepare, but may not be so much extensive as the waterfall model, and may not be too early like the way we do it in the waterfall model. Okay, may not be that early as what you see in the waterfall model. Okay, in the agile way, but definitely as per the standard CMM level standards, whatever the documents that needs to be prepared will also be prepared even in this case. Okay, so that's where about working software over comprehensive documentation. Then the customer collaboration, this part I'm going a very slow, because if you have understood these 4 values, rest of understanding the Scrum process or whatever is a cakewalk for you. Okay. And in fact, you can also take up these roles, the process related roles with some project experience if you had in prior. And if you are good at people management, taking up the Scrum Master role is one job role that we have, which can be taken up. Okay. But understanding these values and following the process is of utmost importance. Okay. Then the customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Okay. So what is this customer collaboration all about? Of course, any project for that matter will have the contracts to be negotiated, documents to be signed, all that is there. While we do all that, the people aspect of connecting or updating on the progress of the project should also happen. All the business people should come together to work on a daily basis. Okay. The last one, responding to change over following a plan. What is it all about? Do we have a plan in place? In waterfall, it was very detailed in nature. Okay. But when it comes to agile, we don't do a detailed planning at the beginning itself. But however, we do that at regular intervals. For example, what it was in case of waterfall was, if let's say there are 20 requirements, okay, the detailed planning we used to do for all the 20 at that time. And among that, let's say some 2 requirements are knocked off, or no more, are not valid while you get into your development. Then whatever the time that and effort that you have spent on planning is of waste, is of no use, right? So instead, what we do in waterfall, for every sprint, okay, if it is sprint 1, we would have picked up from 4 requirements. Only for these 4 requirements, we do the planning, a very detailed planning we do. Okay. So thereby, what is the advantage is, these 4 requirements, when we do the detailed planning, here in the beginning itself, we check with the all the stakeholders. Are there, if there are any queries to be sorted out, clarified or modified, whatever, or are taken care in the first phase, then only we get into implementation. Okay. There is no scope for change for these 4 requirements. But however, the remaining 16 requirements out of the 20, if there is any change requested, we are ready to accommodate. Okay. Why are we ready to accommodate? Because we have not even started working on them. We can very easily accommodate. Even if something has to be removed, yeah, we will remove. Something needs to be modified, we will modify it, provided it fits into whatever the bucket, considering other parameters. But it is possible, is all I'm trying to say. Is this part clear to you all? Okay, very good question. Whether the team keeps changing every sprint, not at all. For the entire project, from the beginning till the end, the team members remain the same. It's only the requirements that keep changing. Okay. Okay. So having said that, now you know how are we able to respond to the changes, while we also ensure that we are also following a plan. So all I was trying to say, there is left hand side, there are few which are mentioned, and the right hand side. While the ones on right hand side are important to be followed, we value more of the ones which are on the left hand side. Is this part clear to all of you? Both are important, but we value a little more of the ones which are on the others left hand side. We don't want to miss out on the people aspect with so much of virtual things happening, all that. Right? Okay, great. Fine. So having discussed so much, the agile values are clear to you all. Now, how it all started with these agile values. We call this as agile manifesto. Who started, when they started, all that. It is in the 1970s. Okay, it is so old, but only thing, it came into extensive usage in the probably somewhere in the 2010, 510, I would say. Okay, about, at least 70% of the organized projects started using from 2015, to be more precise. In the 1970s, there were 17 people who met for a skiing vacation in Utah. Okay. When they met for the vacation, when people meet and things is where they exchange their ideas, all this, or about at least their work, how it's going, all that. At that time, they felt, okay, let's document our learnings. Is there a way out? How do we adapt? All that. That is where they documented certain things about how they can execute anything, how to execute their project, or what has to be taken care of, all that. So that is where finally they came up with 4 values of Agile, which we just now discussed, and 12 principles, 12 Agile principles. Okay. So what I will briefly talk about these principles. Okay. So in fact, the explanation is available in the videos as well. Even this text-based content, I will request Prithvi to share that link as well. Sudarshan, if you are also there on the call, please share this link also with the participants, so that if somebody is not, if you want a textual content to learn to understand it a little more in detail, then you can go for this course. Otherwise, that video-based course which Prithvi has shared also, you can go through. Both the content-wise, it is the same. Okay, it is the same Scrum, but the way we explain it may be textual or little more in detail with more of examples and things. That's it. Okay. So coming to these 12 principles, our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. Here, I might be a little faster. I'm assuming all of you have understood the agile values, so I would be a little faster. You can interrupt me, and the session also might get extended till 1 p.m. So please do accommodate that for today. Just because of the one is the technical glitches, and also considering today is the last day of phase 1, we also have certain things to be given to you, be it in terms of the links and others. Okay. So our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through Prithvi, please do keep a watch on the chat window. And if let's say I'm not able to see that while I'm sharing my screen, so if there is any question or any request for a repeated explanation, do let me know. Okay, so that I'll take it up then and there. So considering the first principle, here when we say our, who does it mean? It means the team members. It says that it is the responsibility of the team members to value the needs of the customer. How? By early and continuous delivery. In the short delivery cycle. How do we address this? Through the short delivery cycles. What are those short delivery cycles? That is the sprint, whose duration can be either 2 to 3 weeks only. It cannot be beyond that. Okay. Next, valuable software. What does this valuable mean? When we say valuable means difference for different people. For somebody, value can be of some respect. For somebody, it could be a budget. Somebody, it could be of number of customers, and or somebody, it could be a part of goodwill, right? Whereas here, understanding what could be of value to the customer. For example, again, I will revisit the banking application. See, when a banking application is being delivered, okay, when a banking application is being delivered, it is, of course, you as a customer would be interested in the passbook or the fund transfer. These are the major requirements. But the registration or the login module may not bring in any return on investment at all. It will not bring in any return on investment. If I deliver only the registration feature in a sprint, it cannot bring in any return on investment. Okay, but it is of importance, right? Without that, me delivering the other modules doesn't make sense at all. So consider from a end user perspective, from a customer perspective, what is of importance? Okay, the importance could be the risk that is involved. If you in the based on the order of delivery, importance that you give it to a particular requirement. Okay, or it could be the business from a business angle, some amount that you may have to spend, or could be the dependency also. Okay, so considering all that, what is of value, accordingly you may have to. Okay, then welcome changing requirements even in late in the development cycle. Agile processes harness change for the customer's competitive advantage. What does this mean? I told you, with the agile way of software development, if you are even in your later stages of the software development, let's say you have some 5 sprints, just to keep it short, okay? You are at your 4th sprint, and there is some change request that is coming in for a requirement which you have not started off. Can we accommodate? Yes, we are very much able to accommodate even in the later stages of the project. That is what it exactly means. Even late in the development also, we are able to accommodate the change so that our customer gets the advantage, gets the competitive advantage. Mean to say, compared to is or whatever their competitors, they are able to enhance their business. Okay. Deliver working software frequently from a couple of weeks to months with preference to shorter time scale. As I said, now I assume the working software definition is clear to all of you. So here it says deliver a working software, okay, with giving more preference to a shorter time scale is what it means. Hope this part is clear to all of you all. These three. Any questions on this, Prithvi? Or if there is any request for you to repeat any of these principles, do let me know. Okay.
Somebody asked to repeat the Agile framework, ma'am.
Agile
A little bit on that. Framework.
framework. Whatever we are discussing now in detail is what is the framework all about, which has its own values, it has its principles. Followed by it is where we go to the Scrum, the process part of it, the roles in the Agile, all that. Okay. And the values part of
And somebody also asked one question here. SRS is missing, then we follow Agile methodology for development.
okay. Good question. So here, when it comes to SRS document, it's not that that's where I made you clear during while explaining the values of Agile that we would prepare that requirements document. Okay, we would prepare, but may not be upfront at the beginning of the project itself. As in when we take up each requirement in the sprint is where we prepare the software requirements document part of it for those requirements for whatever those 4 requirements which I would have freezed in a sprint, right? For those we would prepare, we will definitely prepare as per the CMM level standards we have to do and we will do. Only thing we will not do that upfront. We will avoid spending our time on requirements that may be knocked off in later stages. That is the key. Okay, documentation though is lesser. That is all I would say. It will with focus on what is actually required to avoiding some. I mean, I would anyway repeat that here also is in while explaining the. Okay, next. So anyway, while I'll take a few more questions towards the end as well. Let me finish off these principles. While I take up the other principles, it may answer you also, give a more clarity about those values of Agile, which I have explained till now. Business people and developers must work together daily throughout the project. What does it exactly mean? It means that, of course, while the team members, our development team to be more precise, which involves the testers, UI designer, technical writers, all these, while they are working for the project on a day-to-day basis, they may require some clarity about it. Or they may require them at the planning of the sprint. They may require their sponsors or the end users to review the product towards the end of the project, end of the sprint, all that. At that time, the customers or the customer representatives should be available. Just because if they have given business, it doesn't mean that only they are available in the beginning to give the business and towards the end only to review the product. No, they should be available at regular intervals. What are those regular intervals? Beginning of sprint and end of a sprint. Okay. It is more of a iteration delivery, we would say. Okay, which keeps repeating the cycles. Sprint is a cycle, which the delivery cycle, which keeps repeating the process part of it. Then throughout the project means to the entire duration of the project. Next, the most effective and efficient use of conveying information to and within a development team is face-to-face conversation. Okay, here the Agile recommends that So it recommends that the conversation between the team members, between the development team members, should ideally be a face-to-face conversation. Okay. When I do remember the days when Infosys started adopting the waterfall to agile. In fact, when we started delivering the word agile itself, there was so much of apprehension from a lot of our senior people who have been already following waterfall, to make them adapt to it, to make them understand why it is required, all that. The switch over to change over wasn't that easy. And similarly, when we say that when we told the development team, okay, at least the fresh grads who are just into the organization to get into the projects, also to follow the process, because the senior people are also new to it, and even the ones who have joined now. So at that time, it is with what the organization did was, at least for 1 or 2 sprints for every project, they ensured that people travel and work from one location rather than different locations of Infosys. They were physically present in one location so that they understand the process and get onto it. At least for 1 or 2 years, this was repeated. When it comes to agile sessions, also we did it in person, 5 days, very much in detail for the whole day. We used to do that. Now we have gone back to virtual way, and we are able to tell it even in a short duration. What is this all about? Okay, so that gives them more clarity. Similar way, that is where they say that it is face to face. In today's virtual world, even if not in person face to face, at least the video conferencing facilities that are available should help us connect with the person when we do it through a face to face conversation, right? Okay, so that is where it recommends a lot of face to face conversation to that rather than just having some update meetings which are just done through over some virtual calls and things. Okay, wherever possible, at least it should be in person meets also. Then build projects around motivated individuals. Give them the environment, support they need, and trust them to get the job done. Motivated individuals. Here, with agile, it is more of telling that the more of project manager than being a manager. It's more about mentoring the team members. Okay, being a mentor, facilitating, telling them about what to be done rather than telling them how it has to be done. Okay, it is all about telling what to be done than telling the how it has to be done. They may have their own better ideas, and today's generation are very quick to they have a lot of innovative ideas. And one way to support innovation is to tell them, okay, this is what needs to be done. You can come up with your ideas. That will make them own the responsibility. They will own the responsibility. Okay, so that will help them. And what should be the role of the manager there? Here we hardly use the word manager, the role manager, as part of this agile. Here we say it is scrum master as the role. So here, what should be the person doing there? The scrum master should be removing the impediments, mean to say the blocks that might be there for the team members to work smoothly on the assigned requirements or the assigned tasks. And also here it also says, rather than the manager assigning you do this, you do that, you allow the team to discuss among themselves and self-organize, decide on what are the tasks that they would pick up based on their strengths, and commit to the tasks. So when they are the ones who are chosen, they are the ones who are committed to the task, and they would be held responsible. Rather than you telling them you need to, okay, by this time, this is what is required. That's it. That is how the agile works. Okay. So here it's all about self-motivation is the key. Making them responsible. Okay. Then working software is primary measure of progress. This, I think this is the third time we are iterating on it. So it is the progress of the project we measure in terms of how many such working software we were able to show in the review meetings than the documents that were prepared. Of course, while we prepare all our SRS design and all that, they do not show, or they are not used to measure the progress of the project. It's only the working software. Then the next one, agile processes promote sustainable development. The sponsors, developers, and users should be able to maintain a constant pace. Okay, mean to say, see, it's like anything for that matter when it is very new, be it a marriage or be it a thing that you purchase or be it whatever it is. In the initial days, people are more enthusiastic towards carefully towards taking care of it, managing it, using it, all that. Once it becomes old, we lose that interest, right? So same thing might happen in your projects as well. Of course, initial days you are into your sprint and you are very like happy about the way it is something new and you are experiment it over and you are learning from it. Okay, but after some time, okay, we may feel okay, it is too old off, or it is too much of a burden, or some of the people are not coming on time. That is where it misses out, right? To ensure that it is sustainable across from the start of the project till the end, how do we do that? One is all of them, all the stakeholders, be it the development team, the end users, or the sponsors, or your client, or your customer, or your customer representative, wherever they are expected, they should be available for that. Okay. And while they are doing it, it should not be that they are, the team may be very enthusiastic initial days. The team may be start delivering more than what is expected. Okay. If we start doing that, the team will burn out in a short duration. They will lose that interest. Okay. Or if it is too much of a demand from the customer or too many demands of a change management and things that are which is against the process, the team will lose interest. Reduced productivity, delayed deliverables, poor quality deliverables. This is what it leads to. But whatever the process being followed should be sustainable across the sprints. In the first sprint, if you are picking up some 4 or 5 requirements, we measure them in terms of story points. Okay, I don't want to get to that. Okay, we measure each effort required to complete one requirement in terms of story points, and team members commit with the customer based on the story points. If let's say the team is delivering in the beginning of the project itself, they would have committed for 10-20 story points. Till the end of the last sprint also, they will be delivering 20 story points in each cycle, each delivery cycle. That is in each sprint. There is no change with it. Only then this becomes sustainable. Is that clear to you all? Of course, I introduced one more word, story point. If you're not able to understand now, it's okay. Okay. It's all you can understand is to keep it simple, the way we measure the effort required to complete a project, including all the cost, risk, all this. Okay. Then the continuous attention to technical excellence and good design enhances agility. What is this? Continuously looking at the retrospection part. Okay. Looking at whether should we revisit the design or should we modify anything with the design that we are going? Are we going in the right direction? Is it the right product? That review, if it is done by the end users, in every sprint, if we are getting a proper feedback about it, that will, towards the end, we are able to deliver the right product. Okay. That continuous attention to technical practices also. For example, during the review, the customer might also say, see, whatever the testing tool this you might have used, but the amount of defects that we identified were very lesser or it's not efficient. If you could change this testing tool, or be it some programming language or some platform usage, all this on a regular basis. Okay, we say daily course correction. Okay, or a review is the retrospection. I'll anyway introduce those words to you. Okay, this is in terms of technical excellence. Okay, similarly, there is something called behavioral excellence also. I'll come to that. Okay, where is that? At regular intervals, I just to say about behavioral experience, I've jumped to the 12th one. Later I'll come to 10th and 11th. At regular intervals, the team reflects on how to become more effective. Okay, then tunes and adjusts its behavior accordingly. It's not only the technical aspects, but the behavioral aspects also within the team. Okay, there could be some behavioral parts like people sending too many emails rather than connecting. They might be sending too many emails. In that case, it is the duty of the Scrum Master to tell the team communication is the key. So please communicate with each other and get them sorted out rather than sending multiple emails. Rather than sending out mails to update your progress, there are tools which we use. Please update your progress there. There is no need to mention that in the email. Okay, some behavioral changes. Okay, within the team. Then simplicity, the art of maximizing the amount of work not done, is essential. This is one of the confusing principle for anybody who looks at it. What is this? We are telling that we will look at more of work that need not be done. What is it all about? What does it mean? Okay, like that banking application example I gave, I looked from a perspective of what can bring in more, what is of important to my customer. To my customer, it is the security of your amount money that you have kept in. Accordingly, whether I want twice or thrice the authentication, I will for the authentication on the authorization, I do that. If I do that, the customer are happy about it. That's very important. And for me as a bank, what I need more of business. How do I get that business? It's from the fund transfer and others. So is that feature ready? Yes. What is of least importance? The demand, and of course, it is a good to have feature. Having a cherry on your ice cream is good. Even if it is not there also, ice cream itself as is very tasty and we would enjoy it. Right? So here also, whatever those toppings, or we say that wants, could have kinds. Whatever I should have them kind of requirements, we will take it up on priority because they are required. What is that could have, good to have kinds? If the time doesn't permit in the project, if effort doesn't permit, then we may knock off. Similarly, you would have planned it when it comes to your house or so, right? Initially, you would have thought I would get this interior, that part, this part, all that. But later, considering the budget and things, you may feel, okay, this is of essential one. Kitchen, so much is required. Room, so much is required. These are essential for us to live. If I'm running short of budget, let me keep the other parts later, which are of not important, right? We do that. Similar way in the projects, identify those aspects which may not hardly bring return on investment to you. Even without that, we are able to run our business successfully. We are able to launch our products quickly. Those could be one is short of money, you may stop it. Other could be the time. The customer would be interested in launching the project. They are least bothered about the one that you are not able to deliver, because that is bringing hardly any return on investment. So that's identify them. That is the key over here. Identify them, that is the art. And something that it's a mundane thing that you are doing repeatedly. See if something can be automated. Many things you look at it as ladies, I think you are very good at it and on a day-to-day basis. Certain things which you might be cutting your vegetable, all this. Now we have a lot of chopper, grinders, mixers, all that can do the job easily for you. What is that you have done? You have automated your manual work, reduce the time in doing them, all that, right? So the same thing you would apply over here. That's it. Next, the best architectures, requirements, and design emerge from self-organizing teams. So what is this? I told you in the beginning. The self-organizing team. When you give that freedom for the team to plan, commit to the tasks based on their strengths, interest, that will also give accountability for them to work, rather than we dictating on they should do this, they should do it in this way. You give them that chance to explore and go for it. They might fail, pass, all this happens, but in the process they will learn. Okay, you would have tried out with your kids at times. You would try it out in your own process. The same thing you would apply it in your. This is all about the people management aspects. That's it. So this is about the 12 principles of Agile. So I would pause here for a minute to check on any important questions which I would have missed on. I know it's not about important. There are so many questions I see, and a lot of conversations also happening over the chat window. So Prithvi, if there is any, one or two, if you can pick up.
Yes, ma'am. So one of the participants asked, how do we track the work in Scrum?
Okay, good question, Professor Shaili. So it is, we do have a lot of tools. One such tool we extensively used is the Jira. Okay, so this, in Jira, we have the options to, the requirements, we write it in terms of user stories, we call it. So there is a template which can be used to upload them, the task related to a particular requirement, the story point that we estimate, whatever the progress for the team members to update, review comments, for everything that we do have a lot of such tools. Okay, Jira is one such tool. Okay, there is something called Agile Fund, which is an open source one. There is IBM Rational Rose, Rally. There are many such tools which are available. Okay.
The next question is from Sumaya. Where can we apply any minimum criteria for company to run on Agile methodologies? Is it possible to apply on startups?
Okay. Considering all ladies over here, you can apply the Scrum even in, if you are a person who is baking a cake, even there you can apply the Scrum. Okay, even in your day-to-day activities from morning till evening, what you do, you can still apply it. There are a lot of these best practices that you get out of it, which you can apply. If you can apply them in your day-to-day activities, just imagine, be it any, I mean, it's not only IT organization, even in educational institution, they can very well apply this. Because ours also, it's like a corporate university, I would say, when it comes to education and training. And Infosys Springboard, it's a mixture of, I mean, it's an initiative with academic institutions, a lot of governments also being partnered with us. Still, we are able to adapt to the agile way of working. Okay.
There's another interesting question from Geeta. If the requirements are continuously changing and the project team is willing to accommodate the numerous changes, how is the project re-estimation handled to manage the scope?
Okay, great. So let me, I'm just missing out on the names, don't mind, okay. So to answer this, the requirements, there are places where they cannot change also as per this agile, and that also should be sensitized by the Scrum Master. When the requirements gets freezed at the beginning of the sprint in the planning phase, after that, there is no scope for change of the requirements. Before the team picks up the requirement, there is scope for change. And if that requirement falls within the estimated efforts of it, okay, accordingly, if there is any increase in the effort, billing and things do happen as per that increased thing. Hope it answers your question. If not, again, I will take it up a little more in detail while I explain the different phases of Scrum. Okay. Okay.
And,
question, what is the difference between Agile and Scrum? Okay. The Agile, it is a bigger umbrella. Under Agile methodology, we do have close to 20 flavors with the name Scrum, Kanban, Extreme Programming, and Lean. Okay, these are the different flavors. Okay, like I told you, your vanilla, strawberry, chocolate, all this. Though you have all these different flavors, as you consume them separately, if you are a person who is interested to consume, you do take them separately. At times, you may have a combination of these flavors, right? With the cassata slices, or there are, what is that? I'm not getting that, whatever that bowl kind of, what is that? Prithvi, if you can quickly tell me, I'm not getting that names of those ice creams.
Sundae.
Gadbad.
Sunday.
So you can go for these layers as well, right? So here also, considering the best practices, a small portion of it we may draw it. Okay, let's say Scrum. It is more extensively utilized in the development projects, and 70% of the IT organization, wherever it is development projects, they go with Scrum. Here and there could be few projects also where they are not able to follow Scrum, but however, they follow Scrumban. It is a combination of Scrum and the Kanban. Okay. Then Kanban, it is extensively used in the maintenance projects. In the extreme programming, this is used in very, very critical projects. For example, cases where it is time is the key. For example, if you are designing something, a software where it is about some nuclear reactor kinds, where you need everybody to be an expert. If it is something in the medical field, here you do not have time to take decision. Within that fraction of second, if something is going wrong, you need to have experts in the domain expertise, technical expertise, testing expertise. Everything who is in your team are experts only. You cannot afford to have any new person into it, because the time is very critical, the critical project. This is where the extreme project, the programming is all about, where it is very time critical and you have to take quick decision on what should be done, how it has to be, and how the implement has to go. Okay, if it is some radiation mission and it is again which is operated through some softwares and something is going wrong, you can imagine how it will affect the patient, right? Yeah, somebody is giving a good example of ISRO. In all such cases, it is all experts, right? Where time critical. Then the lean, what is this lean on and all about? Lean, to tell you, it was all about, it was a very old one which was used in the by the manufacturing company. Actually, lean has its origin from Toyota, a manufacturing company, right? The Toyota car manufacturing, where the manufacturing company, when the cars were manufactured, when the individual parts of the car was manufactured and people and a team of people were assigned to assemble the car out of the individual parts that were available, they spent a lot of time in searching the tools required to fit those individual parts just while assembling. So the time, a lot of unproductive time, right? So that is where the person Tai Chio was responsible. It's because it's a Japanese company, and the person who is Tai Chi who coined this, came up with this idea. What he felt is, instead of giving it to a team, let me have specialists. I have a specialist who is good at assembling the front row wheels, engine part of it, or a body part of it, seats part of it, so that that person has the expertise in that area. So when the work is given to an expert of is a strength, obviously he will be able to do well. Along with it, the other change he also proposed was in terms of how the tools can be organized and the kind of attire the mechanics use. If you observe nowadays, the kind of coat they wear and how they arrange their, what to say, their whatever those tools that they use, the way they were arranged and how the work was divided helped them reduce the assembly time. More cars were they were able to assemble when the responsibility was given like this. That is where the IT organization also felt, though the manufacturing company is using it as this way, let me have some specialists also identified when it comes to maintenance projects. There could be errors, defects in this area. If I have so many people who are specialized in this area, they can pick it up in this duration. They can very well. For example, today you come and say, in Springboard, I do have issues with my certificate generation. Okay, I do have a support team. The L1 support team will look at whether I can address this issue or I can give some answer. If they have it, they give it to you. If else, they go back to the specialized set who can work on it. Okay. Else, if it is some new feature, then it follows the Scrum route where it undergoes complete development. This is how it works. Though Lean, it started off, the best practices of Lean is put into Kanban. Though it was Kanban being followed, if it is some new feature which are altogether to be developed, then it follows the Scrum route of requirement analysis, design, everything. So this is how the hybrid way it works. Hope now it gives a clarity about what is Agile all about. Agile has its own flavors. There is something called less, dad. There are many names, okay, with Agile. I don't want you to be confused. There are close to 20 flavors. Okay. While you wouldn't have tried all flavors of ice cream, here also I don't want you to taste all the flavors now. For now, these 4 flavors would suffice. The understanding about it. Now, quickly into the Scrum. Okay. Okay. What is the Scrum cycle all about? 4 phases in it: plan, produce, inspect, adapt. Planning, where the team identifies the set of requirements which they will pick up in this sprint. Okay. Actually, before they even get into the sprint, we call it as sprint 1. If this is before that, there is something called initiation phase or the sprint 0, where they would have a list of requirements. List of requirements. It's not a SRS document, to be more precise. They have a list of requirements. Okay. In that, the list of requirements, that again, to be more precise, it is prioritized list of requirements. And repeat, it is a prioritized list of requirements. What we call it to be product backlog. Why the name backlog? Because we have not worked on them. They are still to be worked on, to be developed. Okay. What is this? It is a prioritized list of requirements. And how are we prioritizing it? It is based on the risk. What if the login module itself is missing? What is the risk involved there? Obviously, anybody can log in, open your account and start taking your money. See the amount of risk involved there. Considering the risk, the dependency, the cost, the time, all this, the prioritization and the return on investment, okay, the business value part of it. Considering that the prioritized list is ready. Obviously, looking into the list, anybody can say that, okay, these should be the first 3 which will be picked up. So team mostly will pick up from these list, prioritized list. And this list may keep changing. Okay. The team will revisit on the list and they may keep changing. That changing when they do all that, I will tell you. Okay. For now, during the planning phase, for whatever those 4 requirements that the team would have picked up, right? Those 4 requirements, they will understand in detail. If there are any questions related to it, they will check with that clarity from the customer. Then the customer leaves. Okay. In the rest of the planning meeting, the team will divide each of those requirements. They will split it into tasks. Then assign them into each team member. Or team members pick up by themselves or whatever, who will work on what. That part is decided. And how much time time would require to complete it. This is something they decide. For the customer, these 4 requirements will be completed in 2 weeks, assuming if it is a 2-week sprint. For within the team, they will decide how much time in terms of hours, how much it would require. This part is done during planning. Once each person in the team has a clarity about what needs to be done, then they get into produce, that is implementation phase. While that is complete is where inspect. This is where the customer will review the deliverables. Okay, customer will review the deliverables. Based on the review shared by customer, be it in terms of technical or behavioral part, the team will retrospect. Where did they go wrong? If something technically, if it is not correct, or process part or behavioral part, what it is, That is where the in that retrospective meeting, and try to adopt the changes in the next cycle. That is how they keep improving in every cycle. Are these 4 phases clear to all of you? Okay, great. Now I'll introduce you to little more Tanuswami, are you there over the call?
Ma'am, he is not here. He left.
Okay.
I'll just bring him to join them back.
No, it's okay, Prithvi. I just wanted him to quickly open one of the diagrams, so that picture itself gives a lot of clarity rather than me explaining. So I thought if he can be of help. Anyway, I got it.
Okay.
Just to save on time, some time, because we are already short of time. What next? Okay. I know there are some questions coming up. I'll take it. Okay. We follow something called 3-4-3 in Scrum. What is this 3-4-3? 3 roles it has, 4 ceremonies, 3 artifacts. What are the 3 roles? We do have roles like product owner. Just give me a minute. One important call and repeat.
Participants, these slides are available in the course content. So not to worry, the Agile Methodology link that has been shared, or I'll be sharing it, will have all of these. Just try to make a note of the explanation, please. As ma'am is on call, I'll just put the link as well here. You then either log into this link. If the link does not open, please type in Introduction to Agile Methodology. All you need to do is select the course which says Source from Infosys Wingspan. I see the participants' numbers are reducing. Please stay tuned till the end of the session. Asta, nobody is talking. The session is paused as Sana ma'am is on a call right now. You can also refer to software engineering and agile software development. This is also one of the courses within the platform. I'll just give you the link for the same. This particular link will talk to you about agile software development and the framework as well.
Sorry for that interruption. Hope I am audible now. Sorry, I was repeatedly getting some call. This was some government related, so I had to take it up. With that, okay, I was talking about the 3 roles in Agile. That is the Prithvi, could you please confirm whether I'm audible?
Yes, ma'am. Loud and clear.
Yeah, thank you. So I was talking about the roles, the 3 roles as part of the 3-4.
Ma'am, I think we lost you again. Sana ma'am, if you can please speak. I think we lost you. We're not able to hear. Participants, please wait. Deepika, we haven't finalized it as of now. We'll have a separate call for that shortly. I request all the participants to please focus on phase 1 courses and complete the prevalent courses with respect to that. I think ma'am got a call again. Sana ma'am, I think we lost you once again. Are you there? I think she's just logged out. I'll just check. Please wait.
Sure, Prithvi.
So all of the concepts that's been explained so far, that is the software development life cycle, that is very important to understand this agile methodology. Apart from that, also ma'am spoke about agile sustainability. So that's again an important concept here. The deadline for completion of phase 1 courses will be within this month, please. Within this month, try to clear all the courses, all the prerequisite courses, as well as the 2 proctored certifications. We are not very sure of when the phase 2 will be starting. Tentatively, it can be sometime in the next month. Our Shakti team will keep you posted on that.
Yeah, thank you, Prithvi. I just wanted to talk about this. Ladies, we will keep you posted for the commencement of the phase 2. Before that, as Prithvi has, repeatedly mentioned that it is necessary for you to finish the certifications which have been asked in the phase 1. Please do so. And can I give certification test using mobile because I got camera? That's all right.
No,
Prithvi?
mobile, it does not work. Proctored certification cannot be taken over mobile.
Yes,
You
the
need to
two
have
major
a
certifications what you're talking about, right, Prithvi? For
yes,
that they
yes,
need. Yes.
yes. Proctored certification has to be taken on the system, be it a desktop or a laptop. Please do not use mobile phones. Avoid using mobile phones for even learning in that matter. Please, yeah, I think ma'am has joined. 1 second.
Yeah, she's there.
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear us?
I am extremely sorry. I don't know. There is some. This is a new version of WebEx which has recently got updated. At times, we are also facing some issue while we switch it to one window also. Okay, so I will quickly take up this, and with that, with this one thing is where I will close for today's session. Later, definitely, I'll be available to take up the questions. Okay, bear with this delay. So, coming to the three roles in Scrum, what we have are the product owner, the Scrum Master, then the dev team, the development team. When we say product owner, the product owner is a customer or a customer representative. Okay, at times customer is very busy and may not be able to connect on a regular basis with the team. That's where we may have customer representative who will be on behalf of the customer, may review the product deliverables. Okay, but however, may not be a decision maker, may take decisions in consultation with the product owner. Then coming to the Scrum Master, we see Scrum Master is a process owner who would ensure that the team follows the Scrum process. Okay. Then the development team, which involves testers, business analysts, then the document writers, okay, UI designers, and many more. Okay, the architects, all these. These are the three roles. So product owner, who is the one responsible for the vision, to tell that, okay, this is the vision of the product. This should be our focus for the sprint. Okay, this is the requirement which is of priority, and this is how it has to be. So all that, the product backlog, in fact, which that prioritized list of user stories will be owned by the product owner, and any change to it and any change to the product backlog should be done in consultation with the product owner only. Okay. Now coming to the Scrum Master, is more from a people's manager, good at people management, ensuring the team follows the process, and at the same time, he should also be protector of the team, I would say. Or we also call this servant leader role. Why servant leader role? Protector of the team, first let me explain this. If let's say that as I said in the beginning of the sprint, during the sprint planning is where the team will decide on the requirements and start working on it. Once these are freezed, these requirements which the team would have picked up in a sprint are freezed. If the product owner is coming back for a change or a modification for these requirements while the sprint is in progress, the Scrum Master should sensitize the product owner about how it will impact the deliverables. Okay, he should take all that shock Our founder NRN says, whenever currently even when the market situation is low and things, when he has to communicate to the employees, normally he communicates at the leadership level and says, the leadership team should be shock absorbers. They should take whatever the shock that is for the management or due to the market conditions or whatever it is, they should absorb the shock at the fullest level and only disseminate very little of it to their next levels. Okay, so that the people at the lower level are not impacted with whatever the conditions that might be there, and they can only, so that they are the ones who can really focus on the deliverables that they have to. Okay, similarly is where here also, if product owner, somebody is coming and telling, okay, this is where the changes are, this is what, that is where he should protect on behalf of the team what can be taken, what cannot be taken. He should be a wise decision maker. There could be issues that the team might be facing in terms of some infra, some approvals, what is then it is again the Scrum Master who should be taking it up, absorbing it and ensuring that those impediments are resolved for him. This is where we call it servant leader role. He should be one like a servant, serving the team in terms of resolving their impediments, protecting them, all that. At the same time, lead the team to ensure that they are able to complete their deliverables on time. That is where we call it. It is a servant leader role. It is a people manager role, good at people management skills. And if the person is good at technical skills and domain skills, if he is aware of, it makes him a better people manager, better Scrum Master along with all this. Okay, more importantly, this part, people management is not an easy job. When some of you, at least as mothers, when you find it difficult to manage one child or two at home, then just imagine when you have to manage a team of people which keeps changing. It's not the same set. Okay, at times it changes at 6 months, at a year also, right? So that managerial skills is very much required as you go up in the hierarchy. And this Scrum Master role needs it a lot. Okay, so this is about the 3 roles. Then the 4 ceremonies. The meetings in Scrum are called ceremonies. So what are these ceremonies? The 4 ceremonies that are conducted in Scrum are sprint planning, daily Scrum meeting, product backlog grooming, and review and retrospective. Sprint planning meeting. This is where in the beginning, as I told, the team members will decide on the requirements, get their queries started, and start with the project. Okay, so this is the planning phase where they do a detailed planning, whatever I told you about, right? The dividing of the requirement into subtasks, team members assigning it, how much time, all that part, getting clarity from the product owner, all that happens in the sprint planning meeting, where product owner, development team, and Scrum Master are present. Next is the daily status meeting, where the Scrum Master will conduct. We also call daily stand-up meeting, daily Scrum meeting are the names used. Why daily stand-up meeting? Because it should be conducted only for 15 minutes on a daily basis. Same venue or same meeting link at the same time every day, wherein team members will answer 3 questions in this meeting. What did I do? Since the last meeting? What am I planning to work on? Are there any impediments? Normally, the Scrum team size is 5 to 7 people. Okay. These 5 to 7 people, each person, when it is 15 minutes, you can get 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes. They will only say, what did I do since the last meeting? What am I planning to do? And are there any impediments or blockages stopping me from doing my work? So here nobody will speak. Only one person will speak at a time. Rest of them are in a listen-only mode, and Scrum Master will make a note of the impediments each team member is facing. All the team members will update this much in the team meeting. Update this same work on their Jira tool also. Okay, then leave. Scrum Master, who has made a note of all the impediments, will get on with a one-on-one meeting with the respective team members to resolve the impediments. This is about updating their status, and this could be done in a standing position. Mean to say, people tend to speak a lot when they are in the sitting positions. Even if they are standing for 15 minutes, and if we are able to finish this meeting, well and good. That's where it's also called a stand-up meeting, Scrum daily status meeting, all these things. This should not go beyond 15 minutes. Okay. Then the product backlog. When is this done? Okay. In this 2 weeks, okay, 2 weeks sprint, right? In the 2 week, if let's say 1 week is over, after that is where in the mid of the sprint, product backlog grooming is all about sprinting ahead. Okay, it is like you are still in, your son is in some 5th standard or so, where the school says you need to pay the bills, pay the fees for the upcoming annual year, take the books or take the uniform measurement or something. Mean to say they are sprinting ahead. Of course, the current ones are going on, but the plan for the next year is also on, right? Here also, it's all about deciding, the team deciding what are those 4 or 5 or whatever requirements that they can pick up in the upcoming sprint. Okay, do they have clarity about all those requirements? Is there, somebody was asking, right? Is there a need to re-estimate any of the requirement? Is there a need to reprioritize any of the requirement? This is all done in consultation with the product owner. Here the product owner, the Scrum Master, and the development team, all 3 are available during the product backlog grooming where they do this. This is not the current sprint requirements. This is the ones which they will be picking up in the upcoming 2 requirements, upcoming 2 sprints. And those, are there any requirements to be re-estimated, revisited, reprioritized, all that also they will check. So this is clear to you all. Finally, once the requirements are produced, then the review phase, where the deliverables are reviewed, and based on technical and feedback being received, then the product owner leaves. The end users will share their inputs on the deliverables. The product owner leaves. Retrospective on technical and behavioral excellence. There are also 3 questions each team member will answer. Once the product owner leaves, it is Scrum Master and the dev team what to start doing, what to stop doing, what to continue doing. These are the 3 questions. For example, the team, as I said, the customer would have told them that it is better we have the different tool for testing. So they should adapt that new tool. Okay, they will start with that. What to stop doing? Some tool which they are using are not yielding better results. So we should stop that. If people are communicating too much over emails, we should tell them to stop doing it. Okay, stop doing. What to continue doing? If let's say they are doing some regression testing which is giving good results, let's continue doing. Or it could be any practice. Just an example I give. This will be answered by every person again, irrespective of the experience and the role they play. Every person will answer. Again, the Scrum Master will summarize, and as a team is where they will collectively agree upon what they will start, and what they will continue doing. Okay, this is how even in IT industry, if you every 6 months or annually when the appraisals are conducted, every team member is expected to answer these 3 questions based on the work they did. What did go well? what did not go well, or what to continue doing. Similarly, it is all a retrospection about themselves. Okay, so though we understood 3 roles, 3 ceremonies, 3 artifacts. What are